Mica Mosbacher is a political strategist and a member of the 2020 National Trump Advisory Board. She joins me live in the studio. Great to have you here, Mica.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, firstly, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell all but guaranteed Trump would, or there was zero chance that Trump would be removed from office here. Can we assume Trump cannot be removed at all given this, or do you think that there might be a little bit of conflict when this Senate trial actually comes to play?
We've never been more united as Republicans. For example, if you look back in 1989 during the Clinton impeachment, there were Democrats that voted for impeachment in the House, in addition to obviously the majority of Republicans at the time. And then he was acquitted in the Senate, as we predict that President Trump will be. And we have not seen one Republican defect at this point. So this is what's very important and a real distinction from any other impeachment. Remember, the provenance for this impeachment was an anonymous whistleblower. And the House Republicans have argued, and argued very strongly, that this individual should have testified even if it was under closed-door testimony. And secondly, the Republicans have argued from day one when the impeachment inquiry started that Nancy Pelosi originally had stated that it would be bipartisan, and it's been voted on again, on strict party lines. Additionally, the Republicans feel that this has been a very unfair process. They have not been able to call the witnesses that they wanted in front of the Intelligence Committee. When the professors were called in, there were 3 liberal professors, and the Republicans, even though they're in the minority, only had 1 conservative professor, Jonathan Turley, who actually voted for Clinton. So we think that with the polling the way it is, even Politico said in November, I think it was November 19th, that Americans are, there's a downward trend toward Americans not in favor of impeachment. And the big danger is the 31 members of the House Democrats that are in swing districts, of which Trump won in 2016.
Okay, but the Senate hearing has not begun yet, and we have heard from the Senate Minority Leader, Charles Schumer, issuing a statement saying that every senator will take an oath to render impartial justice. So is there a possibility that we might see some conflict between Republicans, given the hard, firm evidence that's been moved through the House here?
We may see 1 or 2. But if one looks at what's going on in the House, again, we have never been more united. And this is viewed by Republicans as a political hit job on President Trump. And in 1970, President Ford, who was then in the House of Representatives, argued on the floor that the the definition of impeachment, high crimes and misdemeanors, is what the House majority determines it is. So I think that actually this is helping Republicans, and I think it will help us going into 2020.
Do you think there is a little bit of concern, given the fact that the strategy seems to be from the Republicans to just be stonewalling, and the counter-accusations may be turning some Republican voters off? I understand that it might help you in the short term, and President Donald Trump may not be, or looks like will not be, removed from office. However, is there a possibility that come the election you might lose some of those college-educated voters, those white women in the suburbs that seem to really put a lot of value for top civil servants as professionals rather as aides to this kind of behaviour?
Well, I don't look at polling, I look at fundraising. We raised a record amount, $126 million in September, for example, and over 15 million since the impeachment proceedings began with the inquiry. I think that people elected President Trump so that he would throw a hand grenade into the Washington establishment. He certainly has. He's been very transparent. And I think, if anything, if history is a predictor, it actually hurt Republicans when they impeached President Clinton back in 1989. And I think that there will be a backlash toward Democrats. If anything, I think this is helping with our momentum.
Well, there's still a long road to go, so we'll have to wait and see. But I really appreciate your time, Mica. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Mica Mosbacher there for us.